What is good, everybody? It is your boy Super Saiyan Cat back with another Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Striker Jutsu breakdown slash test for you guys today. We're going to be looking at all the fire style jutsu that are available for range type, and really these are all the fire style jutsu that are in the game period as of right now. Now there's fire style flame bombs, fire style fireball jutsu, fire style phoenix scarlet claw, and finally fire style phoenix flower jutsu. Now flame bombs is basically the weaker version of fireball jutsu, and then phoenix scarlet claw is also the enhanced version of phoenix flower jutsu. They are very similar, as you guys will see in this video, but they definitely do have their differences as well, and we're going to be breaking down all of them, and I will be comparing them and letting you guys know which one I feel is truly the best out of all of these at the end of the video. Now, getting it started like we usually do, we're just taking a look at the actual jutsu description. For Fire Style Flame Bomb, it says a jutsu where the user uses chakra to spit out fireballs. It has lower power compared to other similar moves, but also has a very short cooldown time. Now, moving on to Fire Style Fireball Jutsu, it says this jutsu expels chakra out from the body in a shape of a giant fireball, and then launches it toward the target. Again, Fire Style Fireball Jutsu is that enhanced version of Fire Style Flame Bombs. Now, taking a look at the stats, as you see for Fireball Jutsu, it says it has a 2 power and a 5 range with a 12-second cooldown, and the same for Fire Style Flame Bombs, but it has an 8-second cooldown. And also, remember in the description, it said that it is clearly weaker compared to other moves that are very similar, like Fireball Jutsu. Now, moving on to the other two jutsu that are very similar, first starting out with Phoenix Flame Scarlet Claw. Looking at the description, it says this jutsu shoots out a large amount of fire style chakra laced shuriken in a radial pattern, which is just a dope move in my opinion. I'm really glad that they added, because it was dope to see in Shippuden and dope to see in the game. Now, looking at Phoenix Flower Jutsu, it says this jutsu bellows out multiple fireballs toward a target. Since it can spat out multiple fireballs at once, it's best used up close. Now, looking at their stats, it has a 2 power and a 5 range for Phoenix Flower Jutsu with a 10-second cooldown, and then Phoenix Flame Scarlet Claw has a 2 power and a 5 range with a 13-second cooldown. Again, their stats may be the same, but you have to remember that these are the enhanced versions of these, so of course they're going to be a bit better. But let's jump straight into the actual breakdown showcasing the true differences between these moves. Alright, so getting this breakdown started, the first two we're going to be looking at is Scarlet Claw and Phoenix Flower Jutsu. And as you see right here for Phoenix Flower Jutsu, it is literally what the description says. It spouts out multiple fireballs, and the closer you are to your opponent, obviously, the easier it is to land all 6 hits. But that does not mean that all 6 hits cannot also be landed from far as well. Now, taking a look at Phoenix Scarlet Claw, as you see again, it is literally what the description says, firing out 6 shuriken laced fireballs at your opponent, like the description said. Now, taking a look at the actual AoE of these moves, as you guys see right there, multiple white Zetsus were hit with the Phoenix Flower Jutsu, and then right here, both of these 10-tail enemies were hit with the Phoenix Scarlet Jutsu as well. So that is something to always keep in mind, and something you always want to have knowledge of, is the simple fact that these moves do have AoE in the sense to where they can hit multiple targets if those targets are somewhat next to each other, again, as you see right there. Now, the next thing we're going to showcase is the range of these moves, and basically, guys, with these moves, once you are able to lock onto your opponent, you are able to fire these moves. These moves have great range and literally can make it all the way to your opponent once you are able to lock on, like I said before, as you saw right there with Phoenix Flower Jutsu. And then you also see right here with the Phoenix Scarlet Jutsu, I'm 60 plus meters away from my opponents and Hinata over there, and I'm still able to use this move and still able to land it due to the fact that it has such amazing range. As you guys saw, they all have 5 on their actual range. Now, the next thing we want to take a look at is consistency, guys. As you see, Phoenix Scarlet Jutsu or Phoenix Flower Jutsu just landed 6 hits, while Phoenix Scarlet Claw only landed 2. That is a major issue with Phoenix Scarlet Claw. It is very inconsistent. Again, Phoenix Flower just landed 5 hits. Watch how much Phoenix Scarlet Claw lands right here against. I should have been easily able to land all my hits for the most part right there against that 10 tails. But again, for some reason, Phoenix Scarlet Claw is very inconsistent, guys. I don't know why all the hits do not land. It is very hard to actually get 6 hit lands with that Phoenix Scarlet Claw, as opposed to the Phoenix Flower Jutsu, which I feel is much more consistent. And that is major because the more hits that are actually done, the more damage that's going to come. For full damage to be done, you need to get those 10 hits. Now, next thing we're going to take a look at is launch time and actual speed. As you see, the launch time for Phoenix Flower Jutsu is actually shorter, but the actual speed of the fireballs for Phoenix Scarlet Claw is faster as well. Now this is important because Phoenix Scarlet Claw may be harder to get off against your opponents when you are up close as opposed to Phoenix Flower, because again it is a bit quicker. But when you are from far, the Phoenix Scarlet Claw will be the move that closes in on them quicker as well, so that is definitely something to keep in mind. Now we are moving on to Fire Style Flame Bombs and Fire Style Fireball Jutsu, and as you saw with the Flame Bomb right there, it was just a small fireball bomb that shoots at your opponent, while the Fireball Jutsu is a much larger version of that, like a seriously enhanced version of the Flame Bomb. As you guys see right there, the Flame Bomb is basically Kid Sasuke's Fireball, while the Fireball Jutsu is the adult version. Now as you see right here with the range of it, again, it's the same thing with the Phoenix Scarlet Claw and the Phoenix Flower Jutsu. Once you are locked onto your opponent, you are literally able to use these moves. These moves range is that great. Now, the next thing we want to showcase, guys, is the actual AoE of these moves. The simple fact that these moves can hit multiple opponents if they are grouped up. As you guys saw, both Flame Bomb and Fireball Jutsu were able to do so. Now, Flame Bomb's AoE, you can say, is less for sure because obviously it is a much smaller version of Fireball Jutsu, but it still has decent AoE for being such a small Flame Bomb. Now, taking a look at the speed of these moves, guys, as you see, they are very, very similar in actual speed, but I would have to say that Flame Bomb is a bit quicker when it comes to actual launch time and when it comes to the speed of the actual fireball as well. Flame Bomb is just all around quicker, but Fireball Jutsu is just better in every other category besides that. Now, something I want to showcase with this move, as you see right here, if you listen in, I'm constantly activating these jutsu and they do not go away until you actually fire these jutsu off. Whether you get knocked out of them, canceled out of them while you are actually trying to use them, they won't go away until you are able to fire them. So that is definitely something to keep in mind, because some moves actually do go away when you just initially launch them before even firing them, if you get staggered or something along those lines. So that was the last thing I really wanted to mention, and again, that is for each and every single fire style move in the game. Each and every single fire style move in the game, if you get stunned while you are using it, it will not go away unless, again, you have to fully actually launch it. And in that case, if you're getting stunned by something, you most likely hit them instead of them actually hitting you. But again, that is everything for these moves, guys. Now, if I had to tell you which one I truly like the most out of all these and put them in order, the number one skill on this list out of all these fire style jutsus, without question, is Fire Style Fireball Jutsu. It is the best jutsu out of all these. It is the easiest to land. It does the most damage consistently because, again, with Phoenix Flower and Phoenix Scarlet Claw, you have to do all 6 hits to land that full damage, whereas opposed to Fireball Jutsu, you just got to hit them with the one time and it's going to do the full damage that it's supposed to. Now, Flame Bombs is decent as well, but again, it doesn't do as much damage really as the Fireball Jutsu. There's not a real way to show that in training mode or anything like that with numbers. I wish they would add that to this game so we can get a little bit more in depth with these breakdowns. But again, Flame Bombs is a bit weaker. The AoE is not as large as Fireball Jutsu, so without question, Fireball Jutsu is the number one skill out of all of these, or the number one jutsu out of all the fire styles in the game. Now, the second best to me, which is gonna sound a bit crazy, is Phoenix Style the Phoenix Style Flower Jutsu, not this Scarlet Flame Claw. I'm getting all mixed up with my words right here, but the Flower Jutsu is much better in my opinion, due to the simple fact that it is much more consistent. As I showed you guys earlier, it is much more consistent offline and online. When you play online, you can land this move fairly easily with all 6 hits, as opposed to offline, Scarlet Claw, that move really only gets you like 2 to 3 hits at a time, and it just really does not make sense because it looks like all 6 are gonna hit, but they don't. So that move definitely needs to be patched and fixed so all 6 hits will land a lot more consistently, because again, it is a very inconsistent jutsu right now, and that is why I have the Phoenix Style Flower Jutsu at the number 2 spot. And number 3 on this list, I definitely have Flame Bombs. Flame Bombs, without question, to me is better than the Scarlet Claw, again because of the consistency. Once you land that Flame Bombs and land it one time, it will do all the damage that it's supposed to, as opposed to that Scarlet Claw being so very, very inconsistent. You don't get that max damage, and that is why I have it as the worst fire style jutsu that is available to us in the game right now. On top of the fact that it does have the slowest launch time out of all of these as well, making it a little bit tougher to use at times in actual battles, because a lot of people throw kunais to stun, throwing out jutsu constantly and things of that nature. You may get stunned before launching that move due to how slow the launch time actually is. So for those reasons, again, man, I do have it at the bottom of the list. It definitely needs a patch and a fix to come to it to make it much more consistent to where it would actually be a good move. But until that happens, it really is not that great of a jutsu in Shinobi Striker as of right now. But all in all, man, let me know your thoughts on this video, guys. What did you guys think? Did you guys learn things? And if you do learn anything, be sure to smash that like button, guys, because that helps me out as well. But again, man, thank you guys so much for watching. Really hope you guys enjoyed this. Until next time, as always, I hope you have a good day. Peace, y'all.